Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Yeah, this is case number 63 on the calendar in the matter of Platts versus Nice. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
How old are you, Miss Platts?
20 years old.
And you, sir?
21.
Well, the two of you decided to play house together. You moved in, you had a couple of dollars, you put $1,500 towards a used car that was purchased, then you had a baby, and then you decided that this family life was not for you right now, so you left. And what you want is you want your $1,500 back that you put down on the car because he took the car with him.
Yes.
You want him to pay some more money for rent because he left, leaving you with a lease.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you say that he caused some damage to the apartment?
Yes, Brian
Caused some damage to the apartment. He says, well, there's plenty of security deposit to take care of that. He says that the car is his, it's in his name, it's titled in his name, it's registered in his name, it's his car, he had every right to take it. Doesn't deny that you put in the $1,500, right?
Correct.
He said that was a gift. And as
Your
far
Honor,
as
that
the rent,
was not a gift.
and as far as the rent is concerned, he said he was a really nice guy because he paid November and December's rent.
Correct.
Even though he only lived there part of November, and the rest you have to take care of, right? Good.
No,
okay.
Your Honor.
How old is the baby?
10 months.
Who do you live with now?
The baby and I live together in our apartment.
In the same apartment?
Yes.
Are you working?
Currently, no.
Who's paying the rent on the apartment?
I've been using the baby's Christmas money, Catholic Charities help me, and my tax return money I've been using, and my parents have been helping me out.
How far do you live from your parents?
Maybe 3 miles.
And you don't want to go home?
No. It's my responsibility, my daughter. It is not my parents to take care of my daughter and I.
Well, but you said that they've been helping you. My question is, is there a reason that you wouldn't go home with your daughter?
No. Just that I'm independent with my daughter. This is our home.
Well, you're not independent. Miss Platts, let me explain something to you, darling, sweetheart, little girl. You're not independent if Catholic Charities are supporting you, your parents are supporting you, you're using the baby's money, which was not intended to use for your rent. That doesn't make you independent. That makes you dependent on a whole bunch of people. Independence means that you're able to take care of yourself. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
There's a difference between being independent and just because you're living in an apartment not with your family, and being independent because you're taking care of yourself and your responsibilities.
Well, I was working prior to Brian.
I was.
And
I used to be a natural blonde. Do you understand? That's used to be. I was never a natural blonde. Get me riled. What are you doing with yourself?
I work full time.
And how much money do you contribute towards your daughter? It's not an answer.
I pay child support. They take
How much?
$120 a week.
I have not received any.
And I
Don't just think that you can pop in here and speak. You cannot. When I look in your direction or ask you a question, you can speak. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Good. When did you start to pay $120 a week?
It went into effect about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And you left in November.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say 6 months. How much did you give her for 6 months?
I don't know offhand. Money
Let's
here,
think- no,
here
just
and
a
there.
second. Offhand? I'm going to give you a second to think.
Okay.
When you moved out in November, how much money did you give her?
I paid the rent for November.
Good. Anything else?
No.
December?
I paid the rent also in December.
Anything else?
No.
January?
Nothing.
Nothing. February?
Nothing.
March?
Nothing.
April?
Nothing.
Were you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Why weren't you giving her money?
Because I didn't feel that I should have to pay her rent any longer.
I'm not talking about paying her rent. I'm talking about giving her money to support your daughter.
I give her money here and there
Here and there is what?
when I have extra money to give.
No. Is your last name Nice?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Nice, what kind of work do you do?
I work for a Chevy dealership,
How many hours a week do you work?
about 45 to 50.
How would you feel if your employer said, I think we're going to pay you once in a while?
I wouldn't appreciate it.
Right. Why is that, sir? Because it's their responsibility to pay you for the hours that you worked. Is that right?
Absolutely.
That's a commitment. that
Yep.
they made. You work, they pay, right?
Yes.
When you make a baby, you have a commitment, the same sort of responsibility. Not when you have extra money. Your baby eats before you do. We understand each other, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you left Miss Platt's, she wasn't working. Is that right?
That's right.
And she was staying home and taking care of the baby.
Right.
Put your hand down. I'm not speaking to you. So when you left, you knew that unless you gave her support, she was going to have to find some other way of getting money, because daycare is expensive. So either she was going to stay home with the baby or put the baby in daycare and get a job, probably be a wash, right? So who did you think was going to support your baby?
Her.
How?
Find a job.
And who was going to take care of the baby?
A friend, babysitter.
And who was going to pay the friend or babysitter?
If she works, her.
And what about you?
Me too.
But you didn't?
I would help if she had a babysitter. I would help pay for it.
Did you tell her that?
Probably not.
Huh?
Have a good time. This one here.
Mr. Nice, did you use $1,500 of her money towards the purchase of this used car?
Yes, I did.
And how much was the car?
$2,500.
Where did you get the other $1,000 from?
I came up with it. My money.
What do you mean you came up with it?
I had money, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You had a temper flare-up, is that right?
Yes.
Don't go back looking for your security deposit, sir. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because you've spent it.
And later today,
Is there a rest of that outfit that you're wearing? You wouldn't go to church in that outfit, would you?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Autumn Platt says the father of her child, Brian Nice, owes for a car, his share of rent, and damage to their apartment. Autumn says Brian walked out on her and their baby.
Now, when you left, you took the car.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you purchase the car?
Last April.
So you had the car for less than a year when you left,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And this car was to be used for the two of you as a family. Is that right?
Correct.
That's why she gave you more money than you put in for the car, right?
Yes.
So what makes you think that you're entitled to that car?
It's titled, registered, insured. She doesn't even have a license to drive a car.
That doesn't answer the question, sir. Same situation existed when she gave you the $1,500.
Correct.
The expectation was that the car was going to be used as a family for you, for her, for the baby, right?
Right.
Okay, when was the baby born?
July.
And the car was purchased in April?
Yes.
Now, I want you to tell me about the damage to the house. First, who put down the security deposit?
Brian and I both put in $250 each for the security deposit.
What is the estimate of the damage to the apartment?
$217.50.
Well, then his half of the security deposit is going to cover the damage.
The holes are fixed now, and the bill is due. And I don't get the security deposit back until I move out of this apartment.
Get a job.
I start a job next week.
Perfect. He's not getting back his security deposit of $250. It's less than $250 to fix the holes that he put in the wall because he was angry. He had a temper flare-up, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, don't go back looking for your security deposit, sir. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because you've spent it. Now let's get to the rent. Do you intend to stay in this apartment?
Yes, I do.
And it is possible to break the lease on this apartment because you're not responsible for the apartment because you were underage when you moved into the apartment. I mean, you couldn't sign a contract. You have to be 21 to
No,
sign a
I
contract?
have a lease that Brian and I both signed.
How old were you when you signed it?
Oh, I was 19.
Did you speak to the landlord with regard to breaking the lease?
Yes, and we would still have to pay the rent.
No, that's not true.
Oh.
No, that's not true. What do you mean? Oh, I asked you if you spoke to the landlord. Did the landlord tell you that for
He
so
said
much
he would
money
take
you
us
could?
to court.
No, he wouldn't. Did you try to sublet the apartment?
It says in the lease that no one else can move into there.
No. It says that you cannot sublet it without written consent of the owner. That's what it says. But you choose to stay there.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, if you choose to stay there and he paid November and December's rent, then you have to cover the rest.
I have the bills that I have paid from January till May.
Good.
The rent.
Good.
But
That's what you
I
have to
had
do.
put in money, too, for November and December's rent also.
That's okay. You were living there.
Yes.
So?
But I feel he should have to pay me half the rent for them
No, he
months
doesn't.
because his name is on the lease.
No, he doesn't. Madam, If you decide, Miss Platts, to stay in the apartment, and you have the ability to either sublet the apartment or for a fee terminate the lease, and you chose to stay in the apartment with your daughter so that you can be independent, then you pay the rent, not him. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah.
Perfect. But you are entitled to your $1,500 back, because the $1,500 was not a gift over here to Prince Charming. The $1,500 was made with the expectation that both of you would be enjoying the car. Do I make myself clear, sir?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He has supervised visitations on Saturdays 12 to 2 for 2 months now, over 2 months, and he's shown up for 1.
I work Saturdays. It's hard to get the day off.
I want him drug tested because he does drugs.
I have to pass a drug test, which should not be a problem.